Good morning. Welcome to Business Morning on Sunrise Daily. I'm Amy John McQuan. We're heading straight to business. Oil prices edged up in Asia on Thursday, supported by strong demand in the United States after gasoline stocks hit a 3-month low and crude stockpiles dropped unexpectedly, with supply concerns remaining after Ukrainian attacks on Russian refineries. Brent futures for May, the numbers we give you are for the futures for May. As we know, this is normally at least a month contract. So for May, we see that Brent crude gained 0.23% to $84. It's gone up to $84. We had about $82 yesterday. $84.22 a barrel, while for WTI from the United States, it's also up 0.19%. and gone up to $79.87 a barrel. Now, both contracts had risen about 3% to a 4-month high on Wednesday on the elevated U.S. demand outlook and heightened geopolitical risk. U.S. gasoline inventory slid for a 6th straight week, falling by 5.7 million barrels to 234.1 million barrels. This information is according to the administration, the EIA, Energy Information Administration. And then supportive on the demand front side, we see that the United States bought around 3.25 million barrels of oil for the country's strategic petroleum reserve. We haven't heard about the reserve for a bit, so it's coming back now. They're trying to stock up. Meanwhile, Ukrainian drone strikes on Russian refining facilities continued for a second day yesterday, Wednesday, causing a fire at the Rosneft after seriously damaging Lukoil. So that's the second oil facility being damaged by Ukraine in Russia. Now, in the grain space, Chicago wheat futures slid towards their lowest level since 2020 on Thursday as cheap Russian supply continued to exert pressure on prices and undermine the competitiveness of U.S. crops. Let's look at the number. We see wheat was down 0.9% at $5.39 for half a bushel. Soybean and corn futures also edged down. An ample supply from the Americas also did that. So we see corn down 0.2%, $4.40 for a quarter of a bushel. The most active wheat contract on the CBOT, that's the Chicago Board of Trade, was also down 0.9% to $5.39 for half a bushel, nearing Monday's low of $5.23. And that's the lowest since August 2020. However, dry weather in Canada, concerns about La Nina weather system could harm crops in Argentina, and the risk of trade disruption could limit that price fall. Benchmark Russian wheat export prices slipped below $200 a metric ton to about $5.44 for a bushel. Now, for the week, this is the lowest since August 2020. Soybeans rose on the flip side there to $11.99 for half a bushel, after rising above $12 for the first time since February the 8th. Now we come to Nigeria, see what's happening, leaving that grains market for a bit. Now we go to Access Bank, where yesterday we had the announcement from Access Bank. Access Holdings PLC announced the return of Mr. Ike Imokwede to the bank as its non-executive chairman. He replaces Mr. Bubakar Jimoh, the erstwhile chairman of the Access Co., who remains on the board as an independent non-executive director. This follows, unfortunately, that untimely passing of the immediate past Group Chief Executive Officer of Access Holdings, Dr. Herbert Wigwe, who was just laid to rest last weekend. According to the bank, as non-executive chairman, Mr. Ike Imokwede will collaborate with the board of directors to oversee strategy and provide guidance to the executive management team. Mr. Ike Imokwede also says that he's thrilled to be back in the bank and is determined to realize the shared vision he had with Dr. Wigwe. Well, another appointment now is Hess Technologies. They've announced the appointment of Mr. Obong Idiong as its Chief Executive Officer. Mr. Idiong comes with experience in the technology sector, a visionary approach to his role. Prior to joining Hess Technologies, he served as the Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of Africa Prudential PLC, where he spearheaded the digital transformation of its registrar services and repositioned the company as an agile and technology-driven organization. Mr. Idiong has held a series of senior management roles, including at the United Bank for Africa PLC, as well as Hess Holdings Limited. Hairs Technologies is a subsidiary of Hairs Holdings. Also, that yesterday there was the announcement Dr. Fumi Chima has been appointed as the chair of Hairs Technology. She served as a CIO in the global companies, including Adidas, Fox Network Group, and so she comes with a lot of experience to Hairs Holdings. And yesterday at the close of trade, remember we did tell you there will be an auction yesterday. The central bank sold 161.5 billion worth of Nigerian treasury bills. And so we see this is the result at the close of trade. So more FX coming into the country, especially from the foreign, and that's the most interesting part. So we see for the tenure of 90 days, the offer was 728, the subscription was 85.51 billion. See the difference right there, million and billion. So there's been oversubscription. We see a lot of foreign investors flocking into the Nigerian market with their money. We hope this will reflect in the value of the Naira. The rate yesterday at the highest was at 17%. We've done better than this, about 20%. I think that was last week. So we see 121-day, 364-day. That was the longest of the securities sold yesterday. Those two long ones had the rate of 17%. So it's looking more attractive to foreign investors, and we hope to see the results as the federal government continues to mop up cash and attract FX into the markets. All right, we'll talk more about that. Let's take a break now. When we come back, we'll have a conversation from the commodity segment. Stay with us. Welcome back, where we head straight to the commodity segment with the Chief Executive Officer of Financial Derivatives Company, Mr. Bismarck Rwani. And Mr. Rwani, FDC is projecting, we're expecting inflation in a couple of days, supposed to be like on the 15th. So we're expecting inflation to hit, or FDC is expecting inflation to hit 31.04% in February from 29.9%. That's not much of a movement, is it?
It is much of a movement. Good morning, Inian. Thanks for having me. The reality is that the figure projected, and it's coming out tomorrow, is for it to get to 31.02. But more importantly is the fact that we are going to see food inflation above 37%, actually about 38%. We are going to see core inflation actually increase as well. So basically, we are in a high inflationary environment. But what is interesting, in the last 2 days, we've seen some prices of some commodities actually begin to decline. In particular, we saw pepper decline by 11%, about 75,000. We've seen Bonvita decline. We've seen tomatoes decline sharply to 30,000, almost 15%. And we've seen Indomie noodles actually decline. Why is this happening? Two things. One, because fundamentally, the fasting started on Monday, and today is Thursday. So typically, during the fasting period, we should see an increase in demand because people buy in bulk, but we've seen the reverse. Why? Because the price of these commodities have got to the resistance point where people are now beginning to say, we can't buy it at this price. For example, rice at 95,000, people can't go further. They cannot buy rice at anything above 95,000. So we are beginning to see price resistance, consumer resistance, and then substitution effect. People are now actually eating less in terms of quantity, and even eating less in terms of quality as well. So quality down, quantity down, and prices actually have to come down this time.
So, just as you've noted, with the Ramadan is here, and we know that some specific commodities get more pressure because they serve as, commodities that are used for breaking and all of that. And so we expect this trend to continue. That's a hike in the price of, especially this commodity. We expect it to continue at least until the end of Ramadan.
Yes, we expect that to happen. But what is important, though, to note is that the inflation numbers we are talking about are those of February. We are not talking about March. The real effect you will see is when the March inflation comes out. So February, what happened? February 26 and 27 was when we had the MPC meeting. So the effect of the interest rate increases, the effect of all the tightening of money would not have any impact right now. You will see it in the March numbers. So what we are projecting today is the February inflation. It's in March that you'll see the big spike. So I don't think it's too early to start celebrating that inflation is moderating, but quite frankly, we're going to have the surge. And it is in March that we saw the effect somewhat of the exchange rate depreciation. You know, it appreciated all the way to about 1,400 and then depreciated back to where it is now. It's at 1607. So that exchange rate volatility, the price increases and the logistics cost will feed into March. And March is the month where you have Ramadan. March is the month where you have Easter. So you will see products like some products that are used for Easter celebration, Good Friday, Easter, you begin to see those prices manifest themselves at the end of this month. So for inflation monitoring and projection, I would prefer to discount February and March and then begin to look at April, where we think that inflation begins to moderate because the planting season will be in full swing. And then we begin to see, and the exchange rate is beginning to appreciate. We begin to see lower, actually falling prices, not falling sharply, but at least moderating.
And that should be to us. I know, Mr. Ruwani, you did say this, I think last year, that is it the last quarter of this year we could see a little bit of moderation. We also did hear that from some other economists and international bodies. So do we expect this moderation to begin maybe second half or last quarter so we can hope for something?
No, definitely. Let me say, the exchange rate had gone all the way to 1915. At 1607, is it great? No, it could get better, but certain things have to happen. You have to understand, for example, that the federal government has engaged the services of JP Morgan, Citibank, and Goldman, JP Morgan, Citibank, and Goldman to issue some Eurobonds. If the Eurobond issue, once the conversation starts, people begin to invest money, they know that dollar supply will increase, and when dollar supply increases, the exchange rate moderates. Not fundamentally, but at least directionally. And that means that everything that is exchange rate dependent begins to appreciate. So our view is that no quick fix. A lot of work has to be done, but it's going to take some time. And let us not fall into the crisis of false expectation. This thing is not a quick fix. There's no silver bullet. Many things are happening at the same time. The Dangote refinery and some international prices begin to decline, but it will take time before you begin to feel it. So for the next quarter, just fasten your seatbelt because there's going to be a turbulent ride ahead.
Wow, I was hoping for a little bit of hopeful news, but thank you so much for giving us the reality as FDC sees it. Mr. Bismarck Ruwani, Chief Executive Officer of FDC.
Thank you for having me.
Let's take another break. When we come back, we'll head to another segment where you may have an opportunity to invest. Depends on you. After the break. Welcome back to Watching Business Morning. Now let's delve to the real estate sector right now. And joining me for this conversation is Dr. Salvation Onomroba. He's the Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of Bliss Legacy Limited. Good morning, Dr. Onomroba. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you.
So you did say that there are some opportunities in real estate through your company.
Yeah.
I would like to note that this is a sponsored segment. It's sponsored by Bliss Legacy Limited, and they do have an information they would like to share with our viewers. That's what Dr. Onomroba is here for. So can you tell us about your company, Bliss Legacy Limited? And you say you have plots of land and all of that. Tell us about that.
Okay, well, Bliss Legacy Limited, we're a registered real estate company, tax-paying real estate company with branches around all over Nigeria. Some people term us the fastest growing real estate company, one of the fastest in Nigeria. We can attest to that with the fact of in 2 years, over 25 real estate and over 800 staffs nationwide. So we sell genuine land, emphasis on genuine, well documented with papers that you can trust and with proofs to show people and all that. So we're here.
Okay, so you said you have branches in Lagos. Is it just in Lagos? Do you have
Lagos, Ogun State, Edo State. We have branches in those three places. Well over 7 branches and various centers in those places.
What offers do you have? Everybody sells land, or Monile sells land.
Well, the beautiful thing with us is we stand between you and your Moniles, and so that you don't have the stress. We are the one that go to buy the land. Like in Lagos now, we go to the Moniles, we buy the land from them, ensure that it's genuine. We first confirm from the government to ensure that there are no government encumbrances on it. It's not bought, wrongly bought and all that. We have our lawyers, we have our document. And so when you buy from us, the good thing is you are not afraid of buying a fake land, because it can be traumatic. It's trauma when people buy fake land. And for us as a company, one of our stand is honesty. Because I always tell people, it takes a short-sighted man to scam people. The reason you can scam people is because you don't see tomorrow. Because if you want to do business long-term, you've got to do genuine business. If I do good business with you, you have friends, you have family. And in business world, people spread bad news more than good news. So if you do business, one bad business with one person, they spread it. So our emphasis is on genuine land. You should be able to buy land and rest your mind. For example, in Edo State, we are one of the first companies we can be proud to say, we'll go to places, we buy a bush. Some of those bushes, our clients have built and they are living there. The things we promised them that nobody would disturb you, they saw it. It was even on the news in Edo State. So you can go there, you can see it clear that these things are genuine. So we buy this land and we ensure that you come. And two is the land, this land, as they appreciate, you are sure of number one, security. These are places that they don't become bushes for a long time. You buy a cheap land. For example, you are buying a land, the one we sell in Ibejuleki now, we are on promo. And you buy a land for 8 million naira, and in a short while, it develops and is selling for over 20 million naira. So what we do is we give value to land. We ensure that these land that you call bushes, we turn them into cities, genuine lands.
Yeah, I'm sure that word genuine is very, very important at this time in Nigeria. Yeah. We've heard of some not so good news coming from the real estate sector.
Yeah.
Do you have payment plans, to be more inclusive in your products?
Okay. We are also we have a strategy of selling our real estate in such a way that the richest and the average in society, they can buy. For example, our lands with as low as 1,000 naira, we even have lands that you can buy. There are people you buy, you can pay us for 1,000 naira for 24 months, and you already have a land to buy. So yes, we have a 24 months plan, 1,000, and we are the only real estate company that we can say nationwide that with 1,000 you can buy land. In Edo State, a guy selling pure water on the streets is already buying land. The woman selling tomatoes, because we're able to let them see that, come on, even though you don't have the 5 million to buy land, you can do this adjust system daily. And these things are so genuine to the fact that we have so developed this to the extent that you can even download our app on Google Play Store, on Apple Store, Bliss Pay, and you pay 1,000. You'll be seeing the receipt. You are sent text messages, emails for every money you pay. So the details are very, very clear. You can people even buy from abroad. You just download our app and you can pay. Some of them, we work with PayStack. You use your ATM sometimes if you want to use your ATM, if you want to do manually. So we've made payment plans most comfortable. Like in Ibejuleki now, you can buy land from us 10,000 naira daily. So according to your capacity, anybody, we sell land to everybody.
Yeah, so the problem with such mouth-watering, packages, which is what caused the trouble we had that went viral. I'm sure you don't want that to happen. Is that it seems there's some tiny prints which some of the clients or potential clients are oblivious to. So they sign these things and they expect allocation at such a certain period of time, and then it's only at that time that they are made to see. So do you carry your clients along to ensure that there's no misconception that gives you a bad name at the end of the day?
All right, so 2 years ago when we started this plan in Edo State, this fear was there because we had 19 months plan 2 years ago. Over 5,000 people in Edo State, keyed into the plan, and everybody was scared because it had never happened. As I'm talking to you, over 3,000 in Edo State. I'm speaking on national television. I've gotten their plant. I've gotten their land. So we've been able to master the process. Like we say, you've got to be, of course, it's risky. Business is risky. But if the system is determined to be honest, to give people their property, is possible. It's about the will of the companies. Most companies, when they fall into crisis, they take the easy route. But if you are determined, which we are, I believe if we've given over, as I'm talking to you, we have over 15,000 Nigerians doing business with us actively. And we've given over 3,000, 4,000 of those people in Edo State that paid us 1,000 naira daily. So we know the skill is, but we tell people, why a lot of people have this problem, they go into business, they don't do their research. We've done our mathematics, we've gone to our table, we've crossed all the T's and the dots and the I's. Everything about it is in the documents. When you start paying us, we give you a contract of sales. So every term is there. You read it clear, and that's how it is. So it's always there. It's blue, white, and black. There's nothing here.
Yeah, it's good to emphasize these things because these are areas that seem not so clear, in the sector recently.
So the contract of sales clarifies every rules and regulation guiding it, and as you see it, you're glad. The good thing is most people who buy land from us, like the women who started buying 2 years ago, why they were paying us 1,000, before they finished paying, the land they were paying for has appreciated by 300%. Some of them started paying for 500 naira, for 500,000. 1,000 daily. When they were through 19 months later, that land was already selling for 3 million. And we didn't change the price for them. So it was a good way to even fight the inflation system, because you are keeping your money somewhere where you know that instead of it to lose value, it's increasing in value. So that's one way that I can always advise Nigerians. I understand that there's inflation, and most times when there's inflation, when there's economic challenge, people are looking at, let me first eat to survive. But I tell people, fine, why you eat to survive? But what will you do so that the inflation doesn't affect your money too much? I tell people, put it in something like land. If I put 1 million naira in land today, if inflation 2 years time, that my 1 million naira can appreciate to 5 million, 7 million, depending on the land. If I keep that money as cash somewhere, it would depreciate in value. The inflation could affect it. So I tell people, one of the wise things to do in inflation is to sometimes put money in investment that you are sure, not something you can't control. At this land, you are certain that, okay, this is not running away, and this is sure. So it's one smart way to fight inflation.
And we see you're also passionate about recruitment. You are conscious of that. Creating jobs.
In fact, by our statistics for this year, our vision for this year is to employ 5,000 Nigerians. Because when we started, right now, we have about 800 of them. In Lagos alone, we have about 500 employed in just 4 months. Because we see real estate as a means of employment. If Nigerians really understand real estate, the real estate sector in Nigeria can reduce employment a lot. And so, right now, we're having a training. We train people, we hire them. Some of these people earn as much as 500,000 or more through real estate. And the beautiful thing is, it's not even about your degree. We train you. Some people are really, whether you didn't go to school, whether you went to school. I think real estate brings equality to people. It lets people know that there's hope, that Nigeria, there are better things to do here. We mustn't always see the negativity. There's positivity, and real estate is taking advantage of that.
Yeah,
and
interesting you said that you even train the people, because
yes, we do that.
I mean, requirements could let some people out of the basket. And you want to share with us how people can be a part of this? Do you have a website? You mentioned an app the other time.
Our website is www.blisslegacy.com. Then you can go to our app. You download on Google Play Store, on Apple Store. Bliss Pay is there. Then our office address, we are in Lagos at Ikeja, 52 Adeni Jones. We are at the island at shopping complex, the 54 NFC shopping complex. There, they can always get to us. Our phone numbers, I think they'll be there, so they can always get to us.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Salvation Onoroba, the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Bliss Legacy Limited. And viewers would like to let you know this segment was sponsored by Bliss. And that's the Managing Director right there, Dr. Salvation, giving you all the information of how you can reach them and get access to their product. It is not a Channels Television product. It is a Bliss Legacy Limited product. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, now it's almost time, but I guess I can just give you the numbers. Yesterday, the NGX continues its upward movement. Yesterday, the market closed at 104,000 naira. So it's every day one step, every day one step. If you could do 2 steps. And then that's added 0.47%. The equities cap gained 273 billion naira, closed at 58.8 trillion naira at the close of trade. Sectors, banking doing good, came back up, consumer goods, and everybody except oil and gas. Oil and gas remained unchanged. Top trade, Transcore again. We need to look for what's driving this Transcore. The sentiment around it is really, really bullish at this time, but that's how much we can take. 1 p.m. Business Incorporated will be here to give you more business, delve closer or deeper into the world, both the markets and globally. So you don't want to miss that. Ladi Williams will have you take you around the world of business by then. But now let's go back to the Sunrise Daily Studio.